Hello everyone and welcome back to Keep It English. Do you make the mistake of saying pay the coffee instead of the correct way, pay for the coffee? Or explain me it instead of explain it to me? Well, the reason why you're making these mistakes is that you don't know how direct and indirect objects work in English. In this 3-part course, I will teach you everything you need to know about how to use direct and indirect objects to help you eliminate those common preposition and word order mistakes. So let's get started. Okay, in part 1, we will explore what is a direct and indirect object. Well, almost all sentences carry a subject. The subject is the person or thing doing an action. The subject is represented by either the noun or name of someone, or thing, or the subject pronoun: I, you, he, she, it, we, and they. For example, take the sentence, Jenny is writing. Jenny, as I'm sure you understand, is the subject of the sentence. She is the person doing the action. Now, some sentences have both a subject and an object. The object is the person or thing receiving the action. For example, Jenny is writing an email. What is the object of this sentence? Right, the email. The email is the thing receiving the action. Now, take a look at this sentence. Jenny is writing an email to Tom. Now there are two objects, the email and Tom. For clarity, English and other European languages separate the two objects. The email is a direct object, the thing receiving the action, and Tom is the indirect object, the person who the email is being written for. Remember, you cannot have an indirect object in a sentence without a direct object. Let's take a look at another example. The cat catches the fish. What is the subject of this sentence? Right, the cat, who is doing the action of catching. What is the object? Correct, the fish, the thing receiving the action. Now let's modify this sentence to say, the cat catches the fish for the children. What is the direct object in this sentence? Right, the fish, which is still the object receiving the action of catching. And what is the indirect object? Correct, the children. The children are the objects who the cat is catching the fish for. Another clue about what is a direct and indirect object is word order. In English, sentences with two objects normally run subject, then direct object, then indirect object. This is the normal structure, but it is not always this way. We will explore this in more detail in the following lessons. But why are direct and indirect objects important? Well, in English, both direct objects and indirect objects are either nouns or object pronouns. Object pronouns are, remember, me, you, him, her, it, us, and them. And so how do you signify which is a direct object and which is an indirect object? Well, in English, we signify the indirect object with the pronouns to or for, or sentence structure. Take a look at this sentence. Give the ball to him. What is the indirect object here? Correct, him. We know that it is him because it is preceded by the preposition to. What is a direct object? The ball. The ball is the thing receiving the action, and it has no preposition. But not all indirect objects carry the preposition to. Take a look at this sentence. I buy a car for my brother. Here the indirect object is, right, my brother, and it is preceded by for. The direct object is the car, and that again carries no preposition. I buy a car for my brother. The structure of an indirect object sentence changes depending on the verb you use. I know this sounds complicated, but don't panic. All verbs that use two or more objects in a sentence follow one of 6 structures. I will cover all of the verbs in each of their structures in the following lessons, so don't worry. Stay with me and I will teach you how to use direct and indirect objects correctly for all possible verbs. So that's the end of our introduction to direct and indirect objects. Next up, we will explore direct and indirect objects using for. To recap on any of the information here, go to the lesson notes below or test yourself with the quiz. See you next time.